Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the rest of October. So mid-month to the end of October. Let's see what are the major themes that Capricorn is dealing with as they are moving through their month. For Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, we are going to be dealing with motives. Looking at why, the reason behind your actions is going to be key this month for you, Capricorn. It appears that you're also going to sort of be between two worlds, the land between. So you're sort of hovering between two worlds right now, Capricorn. And right now, as you do that, in the stillness of this moment, you are looking at your motives. And you're looking at what sparks joy for you. You're looking at what sparks joy for you, okay? You're trying to understand how to move forward with these new instincts and these sort of intuitive inspirations, how you can move forward. And you're sitting in a space right now where you're kind of stuck between two worlds, right? So it's interesting, this card, the land between, it's sort of like, it's not here, it's not there, it's somewhere new. And it's almost like you're going to start to discover that this month, Capricorn. What other major themes do we have here for you? Ooh, a willingness to release. So this could mean disturbing some patterns and doing things in a different way. Not judging the way you do them, not judging them, but doing things in a different way so that you can see a different outcome. Without judging. And this idea of being willing to release, I love the phrasing of that. It's willing. You need to be willing to release. This isn't release by force. This is, I am willing to release this so that I can move forward, perhaps into this new place that you're headed towards, where there's going to be some instincts and motivations that really, really bring out, this card is a merry motive. So it's like an inspiration that comes through your intuition to motivate you to do something. So I feel like you need to release in order to hear the messages clearly, not correctly, but clearly, to understand, because it's almost like if I didn't know, I would suggest that you're sitting in a place right now, Capricorn, that you may even describe it as feeling lost, but it's like you don't see the bridge here. You don't see the connectivity between leaving this place and sort of sitting in this middle space until you find a bridge. And I feel like you're going to find that bridge, and it's going to come to you in sort of an intuitive inspiration, but you're going to need to release old experiences, old patterns, old ways of thinking. Things need to go so that this can come in. And it's almost like that's kind of the point. Okay? So that's really interesting. Now, let's see here. What will support Capricorn? Let me shuffle these. What will support Capricorn as they move through the rest of the month with this feeling of not really understanding where they have come from or where they're going, but feeling like almost an uncomfort. It's almost like you feel uncomfortable where you used to feel comfortable. And so you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go or what to do. But it's almost like, again, it's kind of like that's the point. I feel like you're going to need to sit in some reflection and understand what needs to be released before you can sort of find your path into this new land. Okay, so how can Capricorn support themselves through this timeline through October, the rest of October? Okay. Oh, we got 3. I thought we had 2. We got 3. Right. Okay, so we got, it's a new beginning, patience, and adventure. Interesting. So it looks like it is a new beginning, Capricorn. I mean, you are starting something new here, but I feel like there is some patience that needs to happen because you are sitting between two worlds, as we saw, and needing to release things in order to find that spark. So we need to be patient as we discover that spark. We're going to discover that spark by assessing, our intuition more carefully, by really exploring the inner environment and by having some fun. I think that's something that needs to be said. Capricorn, you're too serious about everything. And I can say that because I'm a Capricorn as well. But sometimes we need to have fun. We need to have some adventures and to have an adventurous spirit, right? That it's not just because we're not sure where we're headed, which can be terrifying for a Capricorn, and that we need to release things and sort of discover new aspects of ourselves. That can be an adventure. New beginnings can be adventurous. New beginnings doesn't necessarily have to mean that, it's a loss. I feel like I need to say that to you, Capricorn. I feel like I need to say that you're not losing anything. Your willingness to release is going to bring in new beginnings. This isn't about loss. This could be about your perspective, sort of feeling like everything is related to a loss. But I mean, that's a shift in perspective because endings lead to beginnings. Ooh, 2 cards just fell on the floor. Endings lead to beginnings. And so if you're sitting in a space where you think if you have to release something that nothing is going to come in its place, then that really is a space of scarcity where you're not trusting that that you will be led to something to begin again. It's almost like you feel if that goes, then what, right? What does that leave me with? And not really being patient or having this sort of perception that it could be a positive shift. Now, I feel like that is happening more on a mental level for you right now, Capricorn. Ace of Swords in reverse. So you're really in the inner mind. You could be overthinking things a little bit, but you might just be at a place where, again, you're sensing that there is going to be some kind of mental conflict here, and that it's making you feel like lost instead of sort of ready to go to face the challenge. You're feeling like it's a loss and that you're lost. It's interesting, the feelings I'm getting here. Yeah, I feel like you're trying to change the physical world through the physical world, and it's challenging you, and you're not getting where you need to go doing that. So this is where I feel like that Mary motive is coming in. This is not about you expending physical effort to get what you are getting towards. I was going to say to get what you want, but I don't even think you know what you want right now, Capricorn. I think what's happening here is that you're at a place where things are shifting so dramatically, and that this new beginning is on its way. And so as you are starting to sense this new beginning, you're starting to try to work it. You're trying to get it here faster, which is why you're getting the message of patience. And I feel like this is divinely timed, this new beginning. So you can go ahead and try to work it and get it here faster by putting in physical effort. But I feel like actually you need adventure and joy and bliss, and to trust with patience and to enjoy yourself as things start to formulate, or so things will start to formulate, if that makes sense, Capricorn. Yeah, there's some stuff here that could be coming up for you where you're like, I don't want to go. I want change. I want this new beginning, but I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave where I am now. And when I say leave, I don't really mean physically leave. I mean kind of mentally leave. Like you don't want to leave the perspective that you're sitting in. You don't want to heal from the perspective that you're comfortable in. It's almost like you're feeling that comfort zone so comfortably that even though you want a new beginning, you don't want any lag time. You don't want to have any delays. You want to go from old to new now, so that there's no discomfort happening as things readjust. I think things are adjusting right now. It's like the energy is realigning so that this new beginning can happen, but you've just got to be patient and do what you can mentally through logic and communication to, accept this, the willingness, again, willing to release. You're at a place when I see this that it's not really willing. You're sort of kicking and screaming in this boat and you don't want to go. You could even be hanging on to the shoreline, Capricorn. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. You're at the end of an emotional journey. You've reached the end of a cycle here, 10 of Cups in reverse. And it's like you need to sit and reflect on it. Okay, you need to sit and reflect on it because things are shifting. You are moving into a new beginning. And it's sort of like this is that in-between time where it's important to sit with the emotions, feel them, and then release them, right? Again, willing to release. I feel like you have this picture in your mind of what, the happy ever after outcome would look like. And it's like you're not willing to surrender that vision for this new beginning. And, I feel like the messages of patience and a merry motive really make me feel like your own mind is playing against you here. It's that ego, right? Your ego is telling you, no. If we let go of this, nothing comes in its place. Are you sure you want to do that? And then, of course, that initiates some fear. That initiates fear, Capricorn, and then you start to try to be too practical, right? You're trying to practical this to death, but you can't. This is something that you need to be patient as you move through and mindful, not distracted, not, ignoring or avoiding the stuff that comes up. But I feel like, if anything, you're being encouraged to have some fun, right? So loosening up a bit here is kind of my feeling for you, Capricorn. Yeah, this is true. Like, you're coming from a place where you have had some trials, some tribulation, some worries, some loss, some stuff you've had to face honestly, okay? You've had to face some stuff honestly, Capricorn, and it hasn't been easy. It's been challenging for you to face these things. And I feel like there are some things that maybe you haven't faced all the way because of this 6 of Swords in reverse. And, you've got the 5 of Swords, you've got the 9 of Swords, you've got the Ace of Swords. It's very sword heavy. So that tells me that you're carrying a lot of mental weight and that you're not feeling on your inner dialogue. You're not really feeling like things are going to be okay in the end. Again, the Sun in reverse is sort of not, it's still a very positive message, but it's almost the intention behind it that's interesting. When I see it in reverse, it makes me feel like the individual I'm reading for, they don't see the Sun in their life. Everyone else can see it. Everyone else is like, wow, you are headed towards something really prosperous and sustainable and happy and something that's going to be very fulfilling. And yet you're like, really? I don't see it. You know what I mean? That's sort of the attitude of the Sun in reverse. And it kind of makes me feel like, although that's your inner dialogue, your outer dialogue, you're like the people around you are sort of seeing that you're on the brink of something exciting. I feel like people are able to interpret you a little bit more accurately than you're interpreting yourself right now, Capricorn. It's almost like you've got this heaviness around you when really everything is full of opportunity and full of new beginnings. And I feel like people see that in you, but it's almost like you're sort of giving off this impression that you're actually trapped, that you don't feel free to start again, that you feel that the roads are all closed. When, it's interesting, Capricorn, this has got me thinking that you're doing some shadow work, and it's starting to get to you a little bit. So it's time to have some fun. Okay, Capricorn, have some adventures. Do something that makes you feel free. Okay? I mean, the go-to guidance that I'm getting for you is something that's physically engaging, something that is spiritually engaging, and something that is mentally engaging. So it's almost like you want to engage all your senses with something that is going to lift you up so that you don't feel so heavy, and that it's not so difficult to be patient. It's interesting, Capricorn. This is really interesting. Now, I see that, with respect to what the outcome that you're hoping for, you're just hoping to not have more loss. And that's almost not, I almost feel like saying to you, Capricorn, that's not good enough. You can shoot higher than, I just don't want to have any more loss. I don't want to have any more loss. That, to me, I feel like saying to you that's a comment made in fear rather than in hope, or rather than in belief. That is a statement that is made out of fear and exhaustion. That is not a statement of someone who believes that things will turn around, and that everything does have a meaning, and that maybe this is all leading to something. It's almost like you're so afraid of having more loss that you're just like, I would settle for just no more loss. And the idea of settling is your impediment, if that makes any sense. The idea of settling suggests that there's not enough. Right? That you're not enough, and that there isn't enough for everyone, and that someone's always going to end up being the loser. And it's almost like you're saying, please not me, not this time. It can't be me again. And I feel like that perspective is potentially sort of manifesting some things that could be triggering you to go into a place of like a very low mood, where your perspective is very narrow, and you're not able to see the bigger picture. Okay? And it's interesting. It's almost like this is the point, though. It's almost like you're experiencing all of this now, so that when things do shift, it's going to be very noticeable. But I think that shift has to start with you, Capricorn. Yeah, 5 of Cups in reverse with the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. My goodness, that is interesting. That really says to me, Capricorn, that you want things to turn around, and you don't want there to be any loss, but at the same time you're struggling to let go here. You're struggling to just grieve this already and release it. You need to be willing to release this, whatever this wounding is, whatever wounded you emotionally. It's almost like, as long as you see yourself as a victim or a martyr, or as long as you keep defining yourself by this moment, no wonder you don't see the sun, right? No wonder you don't see the beautiful, reliable, sustainable new beginning ahead of you, Capricorn. You don't see it because you almost don't believe in it right now. You don't believe in it. It's like your focus is on this loss, whatever this is. You're not letting yourself get over this. And that's not said with any sort of malicious intention. You probably want to get over it, but something is keeping you comfortable in the idea of being a victim. Something is keeping you, maybe you were a victim, maybe something did happen that victimized you in the past, but it's almost like, do you want to continually define yourself by stuff that happened in the past? Or are we going to be willing to release that stuff that happened in the past so that we can move forward into the future without that heavy load holding us down, right? Yeah, this is interesting, Capricorn. I really feel like you're needing to, the chariot on the bottom here. You need to make a choice here. There's a choice that needs to be made, and balance. There's some balance that needs to be achieved in your energy here, okay? You may want to do some grounding exercises. You may want to have an energy alignment, But I feel like ultimately it comes down to a choice about what are you going to allow to run through your mind on autopilot. Better to shut the autopilot off for the rest of this month, Capricorn. Better to turn the autopilot off so that you can really assess your motives as you do things. What brings you joy? What brings you a sense of inner peace? What are you willing to release? These are things to be really mindful of. I would really suggest turning the autopilot off for a bit and really examining everything that kind of goes through your mind. Like if you have a thought that goes through your mind that says, I am at a loss, I am a victim, like get those shifted to saying, I'm experiencing new beginnings. I am being given the opportunity here to release some stuff, right? It doesn't have to be your worst nightmare. This is about shifting your perception, which is what we saw here. This is a mental conflict where you're needing to shift how you see things. And, I'm beginning to wonder if this 10 of Cups in reverse was really the thing that you can't let go of. Maybe there was a union here, Capricorn, that ended. Maybe there is a union that is sort of left open-ended and you're having a hard time with that. Something is up emotionally for you, Capricorn, and it's, just final words of encouragement here before I close your reading is that turn the autopilot off. Turn the autopilot off and be very mindful of the things you say to yourself. And the inner narrative. What is that inner narrative right now, Capricorn? That's going to be very important as you move through your month. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. If this has resonated and you'd like a reading from me, my email's in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Have a great month.